How long can someone live on a BIPAP machine? That's one of the most frequently asked questions we get, and today I'm here to answer that question. My name is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecareathome.com, and this is another tip for families with intensive care at home. So how long can someone live on a BIPAP machine? And that's, while it sounds like it's a generic question, it needs to be broken down into more detail because it depends on whether, people, quote unquote, live in an ICU or are in an ICU, or whether they're in a home care environment. So someone can live on a BiPAP, which stands for bi-level positive airway pressure machine, for months or even years, depending on the underlying medical condition, overall health, and whether the BiPAP is being used continuously or just intermittently, like during sleep. Now, what I will need to say here as well is that, if someone is on BiPAP at home in particular, but the same in hospital, they need a critical care nurse 24/7. This is actually evidence-based. And when you go to our website at intensivecareathome.com, you will find a section that's called the Mechanical Home Ventilation Guidelines, which are evidence-based, which are a result of over 25 years of intensive care at home nursing in Germany and over 13 years of intensive care at home nursing in Australia. So, the evidence is all there. It's the same in the hospital. If someone is on continuous or intermittent BiPAP, they also need a critical care nurse 24/7, or at least while they're on BiPAP, because patients, generally speaking, have an unstable airway, and that can only really be managed by critical care nurses. Now, let's break it down further. So let's just say there's BiPAP use for short term, which is considered as days to weeks, which is often used in hospitals and in ICUs for acute respiratory failure, COPD, exacerbations, asthma, or pneumonia. If the cause is reversible, the BiPAP can be discontinued once breathing improves. And, that's what usually happens in hospital. BiPAP is, generally speaking, an intermittent treatment and therapy in ICU in particular for respiratory conditions. So now we're entering sort of the intensive care at home territory, where we're talking about long-term or chronic use, which is months to years. So for people with chronic respiratory conditions like ALS, MND, muscular dystrophy, obesity, hypoventilation syndrome, advanced COPD, but also for conditions like Rett syndrome, cerebral palsy, lung cancer, end-stage lung cancer, in particular, lower spinal injury clients or lower spinal injuries, they often have BiPAP 24/7 or intermittent. And some of those clients who use the BiPAP only at night, and others use it sometimes 24/7, others use it day and night intermittently, with good care and monitoring, such as intensive care at home, where we exclusively send critical care nurses into the home for our clients on BiPAP or other chronic conditions. People have lived for several years using the BiPAP full time, Other considerations are that BiPAP often starts out as a non-invasive ventilation mode. That means a mask is applied to the face or to the nose. But if respiratory failure progresses, a tracheostomy and invasive ventilation is what might be needed eventually. What is important? Regular monitoring of oxygen levels, CO2 levels, and comfort levels is absolutely critical. Nutrition, infection control, skin care, especially around the mask, but also around other areas of the body, are important in long-term use because many patients, not all, are immobile. Also, for home care considerations, there always needs to be a backup machine. There needs to be a suction machine. If a patient is on BiPAP with a tracheostomy, there needs to be spare tracheostomy tubes. There needs to be a monitor to monitor heart rate and oxygen saturation. That's why we are called intensive care at home, so we can actually set up intensive care in the home and send you critical care nurses, but also have the equipment similar to an ICU. Now, with intensive care at home, we are currently sending our critical care nurses into the home 24 hours a day. That means we are providing a genuine alternative to a long-term stay in intensive care for ventilation, tracheostomy, home BiPAP, home CPAP, ventilation without tracheostomy, tracheostomy without ventilation, home TPN, home IV potassium and home IV magnesium infusions, IV fluids, and IV antibiotics. We're also providing ventilation weaning at home. We're also providing central line management, peak line management, Hickman's line management, as well as port management at home. We're also providing nasogastric tube and PEG tube management at home, as well as palliative care services at home. We're also using cough assist machines at home for our clients for airway clearance. We're also sending our critical care nurses into the home for emergency department bypass services. We have done so successfully as part of the Western Sydney Local Area Health District, their INTAF program, saving approximately $2,000 per patient that we keep at home instead of them going to the emergency department. That also means we're in a position to cut the cost of an intensive care bed by around 50%. An intensive care bed costs between $5,000 to $6,000 per bed day. Our service costs between $2,500 to $3,000 per bed day. And we're freeing up the most sought after bed in a hospital, which is the ICU bed. But most importantly, we're improving the quality of life for patients and their families, which is a win-win situation for all stakeholders. Of course, quality of life at home is much improved, surrounded by a patient's family compared to staying in an ICU. With intensive care at home, we're currently operating all around Australia in all major capital cities, as well as in all regional and rural areas. We're an NDIS approved service provider all around Australia. We're providing services to the TAC and WorkSafe in Victoria, NIISQ in Queensland, as well as the Department of Veteran Affairs all around Australia. Our clients and we as a provider have also received funding through public hospitals, private health funds, as well as departments of health. We are currently the only service provider in Australia that has achieved third-party accreditation for intensive care at home nursing in 2025. We have been achieving this level of accreditation since 2012. No other service provider has achieved this high level of accreditation in the community and has created more intellectual property for intensive care at home nursing than we have. This puts us in a position to employ hundreds of years of critical care nursing experience combined in the community. No other service provider in 2025 employs a higher skill level in the community than we do, which enables us to look after the highest security adults and children in the community in Australia safely. If you're at home already and you're watching this, or if you're stuck in an ICU, or if you're going to hospital and ED all the time and you realize that you don't have the right level of support, I'll give you another tangible and real-world example today. One of our first clients, when we first got started in 2012, was a client who was at home initially on a ventilator with a tracheostomy with a support worker model 24/7. Of course, support workers are dangerous and negligent when they work with ventilation and tracheostomy clients. Because if support workers are looking after a client at home on a ventilator with a tracheostomy, that is like flying the airplane with a cabin crew instead of the pilot. Because anyone on a ventilator with a tracheostomy is at very high risk of medical emergencies 24/7, or even at high risk of dying if they don't have a team of critical care nurses looking after them 24/7. This is actually evidence-based, as I mentioned before. It's documented in the mechanical home ventilation guidelines that you can find on our website at intensivecareathome.com. Think about it logically. In an intensive care unit in a hospital, you wouldn't have support workers looking after a critical care patient on a ventilator with a tracheostomy. So why would anyone in their right mind would do that in a home care environment in the community? So this client and the ICU he was staying in found out about us eventually, and the ICU reached out to us, and we were proving our concept with this client very fast. When we worked with the client, we sent him intensive care nurses 24 hours a day at home, and he never ever went back into ICU ever again while we were working with him. And we were proving our concept there very fast, and we were saving the funding body 50% of the cost of the ICU bed. We can do the same for you if you're not safe at home, or if you are stuck in an ICU, which includes the advocacy for funding that goes along with it. We always have successfully advocated for our clients, otherwise we would not be in business. The same is applicable for those stuck in an ICU, similar to our to the case study that I've just given you, or if you're going back to ED all the time, reach out to us. We'll make it happen for you as well. We can take you through the right steps, including NDAs or other funding bodies, and the advocacy that needs to go along with it, which is why we are providing level 2 and level 3 NDA support coordination. We have a team of NDA support coordinators, and they have a wealth of knowledge. I've done an interview with Amanda Richards, one of our NDA support coordinators, and I'll put a link to an interview with Amanda in the written version of this blog. We're also providing TAC case management and WorkSafe case management in Victoria with Lucy McCotter. If you're an NDA support coordinator or a case manager from another organization watching this, and you're looking for nursing care for your participants, please reach out to us as well. If you're looking for funding for nursing care for your participants and you don't know how to go about it and what evidence to provide, I encourage you to reach out to us as well. We will help you with the right level of funding, with the right level of advocacy. We're also providing NDA specialist nursing assessments done by critical care nurses with a legal nurse consulting background. And if you are a critical care nurse and you're looking for a career change, and you want to join a very progressive, dynamic, high-performing team of critical care nurses in the community, we're employing hundreds of years of critical care nursing experience combined. If you're looking for a career change, we're currently hiring for jobs for critical care nurses in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, in Albury, Wodonga, in Bendigo, in Geelong, and in Warragul, in Victoria. If you have worked in critical care nursing for a minimum of 2 years, pediatric ICU, ED, and you have already completed a postgraduate critical care nursing qualification, we will be delighted hearing from you. I have a disclaimer though, because we are offering a tailor-made solution for our clients, which includes regular staff. Our clients also do want the same staff coming over and over again because they're very vulnerable and very special. That's why the clients want regular staff. So if you're looking for agency work where you can come and go, this will not be the right fit for you. We are looking for consistency, and our clients are looking for consistency. So please only apply with us if you can give us regular and consistent availabilities for shifts and you're really keen on building relationships with us and with our clients. If you're an intensive care specialist or an ED specialist, we also want to hear from you. We are currently expanding our medical team as well. We can also help you eliminate your bed blocks in your ICU and in your AD for your long-term patients or for your regularly readmitting patients with our critical care nursing team at home. We're here to help you take the pressure off your ICU and ED beds, and in most cases, you won't even pay for it. Even if you do pay for it, it is much more cost-effective than what you're paying for in ICU and ED, and you get the same level of care. If you're a hospital executive watching this and you have bed blocks in your ICU, ED, and respiratory wards, home TPN, please reach out to us as well. We can help you eliminate your bed blocks very fast. If you're in the US or in the UK and you're watching this and you need help, we want to hear from you as well. We can help you there privately with one-on-one consulting and with hiring nurses privately. Once again, our website is intensivecareathome.com. Call us on one of the numbers on the top of our website or simply send us an email to info@intensivecareathome.com. And if you like my videos, subscribe to my YouTube channel for regular updates for families with intensive care at home and intensive care. Click the like button, click the notification bell, share this video with your friends and families, and comment below what you think about this video or what you want to see next. Thank you so much for watching. This is Patrick Hutzel from intensivecareathome.com, and I will talk to you in a few days. Take care for now.